All right, guys, and welcome back to Yo Spill. Hope you guys are doing pretty good tonight. As I promised, I was going to show you the Super Advan sa3's, basically repairing them, making them look good, cleaning them up, and I already got started. I don't want to tag you along for a whole 4 full lip repairs. These are 2-piece wheels. If you guys have never worked on 2-piece wheels or 3-piece wheels before, it's pretty simple. There's not much to it. So you basically have your lip, your barrel. On a 3-piece wheel, of course, that is 2 separate pieces. On a 2-piece wheel, it is combined into 1 piece. I picked up these wheels for a good price. Like I said before, I always wanted a set of 3 spokes. I love the sa3's. I love the split 3-spoke design. These are the faces. They are 17 by 8 plus 31. 17 by 9 plus 31. If you notice, the faces are all exactly the same. So the offset of the face is the same. The difference is right here. If you see the difference, there is 1 inch difference between these 2 barrels, and that is the difference of the wheels. So this will be, you know, for a rear-wheel drive car, this would be the front wheel, this would be the back wheel. For a car that has a different offset front to rear, or some people call it a staggered setup. Staggered setup literally just means either one of the wheels is wider, front or back. But most of the time with a staggered setup, you don't run the same size tire. You'll run a smaller tire in the front and a larger tire in the back. Well, since I have a front wheel drive, I am going to run the same size tire. 17 by 8-ish rim, you can get away with a 225 to a 235 tire. Of course, the 17 by 9, the same 225 is going to be a little bit of a stretch, but a 235 should be adequate. So the tire size I went with was a 235 45 17. These are going to be my all seasons. These are going to be my winter wheels. So I'm not 100% making them as perfect as possible. But if you notice, I have cleaned them up. I did polish them pretty well. These are the first 3. This is the back one. I removed all of the weights that are in the wheels, cleaned up the inside of the barrels, cleaned up the outside of the lips. This one and this one had a lot of damage on it, so it required a couple hours worth of work. I don't want to have a 5-hour long video, so I started on these 3. I wanted to start the video once I got to the 4th wheel so that this video doesn't take 5 million hours. So this first wheel up here, which would be one of the front wheels, had 2 large gashes that went all the way across it. I sanded that all out, started with a 120 grit, then I went to a 240, then I went through a 320, then I went to 400, 600, and 800. It is just like painting a car. If you guys have never painted a car, it's kind of a similar process. You got to get the car, rough up the dents, apply your Bondo, do your body work. Once you get everything in primer, you do a 400 sand, you do a 600 sand, do an 800 sand. Most people stop between 6 and 800. Apply your base, apply your clear, do a lot more sanding if you want the clear to be perfect. Polishing a set of wheels or polishing the barrels is basically the same technique. So the tools you'll need, of course, is a drill to get the real nasty stuff off, some type of abrasive brush. That is like a 80 grit abrasive brush. A little bit of lacquer thinner for the glue from the wheel weights. I use a pot from the house. It's not a pot that we actually cook with. This is an extra one. Put a little water in it. Throw your sandpaper in it. So when you wet sand the wheels, you're not damaging anything. Of course, you're going to need a buffer and some compound. I have a polish compound, a cutting compound, and then a metal polish compound is for aluminum wheels specifically. So let's get right into it. Let me show you the steps, and hope you guys enjoy. All right, guys. So step 1, of course, is removing the face. On these wheels, they already have aftermarket hardware, or it might be stock hardware. I actually don't know. The hardware was a little bit different on the back wheels than the front wheels, so don't know if it's stock or not stock, but it has decently nice hardware. I have it all bagged up. I have the center caps bagged up, and I have the valve stem bagged up. So once you remove the face, you have to use a rubber mallet to knock it out because it gets stuck in there pretty well. As you guys can see on these wheels, there is a lot of corrosion, right here, especially, there's a little bit of curb rash right here, which we will be cleaning up. But once you get the faces off, you can flip the wheel around to the back. If you guys ever get your wheels redone or attempt to do it yourself, make sure you remove all the weights. Get all the weights off. Somebody actually put one of those external weights on this wheel, which is the ugliest thing ever. I hate when people do that to wheels. But you guys can see all of this corrosion from inside of the wheel. The best thing you can do to get that corrosion off is a sanding disc, kind of like this, is kind of like a 80 grit cutting thing. And literally all you do is just go back and forth, get all that out there. Because once you get all of the real rough stuff off of there, you can wet sand it with a 240 or a 320, or some grit that's a little bit rougher, but nothing too abrasive like an 80, because the 80s just needs to knock all the stuff off. And the glue right here, like I said, lacquer thinner will be your best friend once you loosen it up. You can use that same cutting bit, the little 80 grit cutting bit, to knock all the heavy duty sticky stuff off of it. But you never want to touch the face of the wheel with anything less than like a 320. You might go down to like a 200, 220 grit. But you only want to do that it's real nasty on the curb rash. Because if you hit like in here with it, you're going to have to do a lot of sanding to get those scratches out. And if you don't get those scratches out, when you go to polish it at the end of the process, you are going to see them, and you're going to be kind of upset that you did that to your wheels. So I got the weights off, got the faces off. Now let's get into the work. All right, guys, so step one is done. You can see all of the stuff is off of the rim now. So step two is going to be the lacquer thinner and wet sand. I'm going to do this one with a 320 grit wet sand sandpaper, and then I will get back to you and show you the results. All right, guys, so the next thing we're gonna tack after getting the inside of the barrels as clean as we can, this is just dirt. You see these little, let's see if the GoPro will zoom in, these little scuff marks just around the edge of the rim. Even though the tire, the protector of the tire will cover this, we just want to clean this up and make it look as smooth as possible. Like I said, these are going to be my winter beater wheels. So we're going to take that same little 80 grit that we used on the inside of the rim to clean off all the nasty stuff. And then we're just going to go around the edge and clean up all these little imperfections. Because we're doing this, we are going to have to sand the wheel with like a 120 grit or 180 grit. And then we will go to like a 220. And then we will go to 400, 600, and then 800. So this wheel is going to be a decently long process. But at least we'll have the lip looking nice. So once the tire goes on, the rim looks as nice and complete as it can be. Well, as you guys saw in that time lapse, I had to fix this whole lip. So that's one thing with these rims, is it's a piece of aluminum, so you can literally sand out all of the damage. But there are some, let me see where it's at. There was a huge gash somewhere. Oh, right here. I don't know if you guys will see it now that I kind of sanded it out. Yeah, you can see it right there in the middle. I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit more, but for the most part, got all of the big nasty curb rash off these wheels. Like I said, these are my winter wheels. I'm not trying to be extra perfect about them, but because we had to take that wheel to the lip, we are going to have to do a few more sanding processes so that we can make sure this wheel looks as good as the other ones. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's start with our 180, sand the whole lip, sand this. The reason why we're going to do 180 as well is, see this corrosion right here? That stuff does not come off easy. With like the 300 or the 400 or the 600 or 800 grit, you'll be there forever sanding to get that corrosion off. So put you guys back on time lapse, get to sanding, and next time you see this wheel, it's going to be not shiny at all. All right, guys, so about, I think, 1 hour of sanding later, we have a clean rim on the inside, and, well, now there's a little dirt on it, but a clean and sanded rim. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to polish out the inside of the barrel, then I'm going to flip it over, polish out the outside with two-step process. I'm going to do the metal aluminum polish, and then I'm going to do the machine polish to give it a nice shine. Like I said, these are used Super Advans. These wheels are from 1996. So I do not expect them to be perfect, but every wheel I've had to do a little bit of work on the lips or scratches or, you know, indents, which is expected for a set of drift wheels from 1996. So the backstory on these wheels is I got them from a dude in St. Cloud, Florida. Some of you guys might know him. He is the mechanic for Adam LZ, not Big Boost. He's the other guy. They came off of his 350Z, I believe. Is that if I'm pretty sure that's what he said. So they came off his 350Z. He used to have like a JZX and an S14 or something like that, some drift car. And these wheels came off of it. The reason why they're painted that white is to match the Nissan color. So that's just a little backstory on the wheels. And I told him that, you know, I would clean them up and make them look real nice and send him some pictures. And I sent him a few pictures of, you know, cleaning up the process. But let's get finished with this one. Let's start polishing it. And then in the next video, we will actually work on the faces and get the wheels back together and get tires mounted on them. But this video is just basically how to restore the barrel and lip. And the process you watched me do on that time lapse was a 180 sandpaper, then a 320 sandpaper, then a 400 sandpaper, and then a 600 sandpaper. And then I finished it off with a new piece of 800, went all the way down through, cleaned up pretty much every imperfection I could find. You saw me spin the wheel around a couple of times, make sure I checked everything. So this wheel should come out just as good as those other three. Time to get the polishing. All right, guys, so that is going to be the end of this video, and you probably see why I didn't do a video of all four rims or barrels, because this video would have been 3 hours long, 4 hours long. It takes a long time to do this. The before and after is such a drastic change that these wheels looked good in pictures from like 5 feet away before, with them just pressure wash and clean. Now the barrels themselves, you can literally walk right up on them. You know, you could be 1 foot away and they look really good. They all 4 match each other very well. And like I said, I cleaned the front and the back of all of them, polished it all out. So the front and back should stay clean. And these are gonna be my winter wheels. So like I said, I wasn't worried 100% about them being perfect, but I want them to be decently presentable. Like I said, this wheel had some big damage on it. This wheel had some big damage on it. The other two just had curb rash around the lips, which I cleaned up pretty well. I don't know if you can even see it in the video, but you know, here's the big dents that this one had and some curb rash on that side. This one actually had, I can't even find it now, but there was literally, it looked like somebody took a chisel to the wheel. But just a lot of sanding, a lot of polishing later, and it's gone. It's actually right here. I can see the indents of where it used to be. But that is basically a do-it-yourself guide to cleaning up some barrels, cleaning up some lips. And if you have a 3-piece wheel, it's actually same process, just, you know, a little more in depth, because you can take both pieces apart and clean in between them. A lot of wheels I've been seeing recently coming in from Japan are welded together 3-piece wheels. Those things are horrendous because you have to actually literally cut the wheel in half, which is not very fun. But this is probably my 4th or 5th set of actual wheels from Japan that came on an imported car or came over here with a 240 drifting car or something like that. My TE37s on my Accord came from a 240 as well, which is kind of funny that most of the wheels I buy come from 240s. But like I said, that'll be the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about polishing, sanding, paint and body, anything like that, just throw them down in the comments below. Like I said, that's what I actually went to school for. That's why I'm not scared to take on projects like this. You buy a set of JDM 2 or 3-piece wheels for a decent price, clean them up, put them on your car, and you know they're worth more money. So, you know, approximately you can probably pick up a set of wheels like this for $1,200 to $1,500. And when you're done, if you know, make them decent condition, you know, there'll be a little bit of damage, but nothing that is major. The wheels are perfectly straight. You know, you have a set of $2,000 wheels on your hand once they're painted and cleared and cleaned and everything. So it is a good investment. Rims or wheels, tires, everything you can buy and sell for pretty good profit sometimes. It really depends on what it is and the, you know, amount of people that want it. So that'll be the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and at least I get to use the dyno for something. It can hold my wheels until we get our electrical and air stuff finished completely. As you guys know, it's a holiday, so nobody's working right now. So leave down in the comments below what you guys think about the wheels. As always, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and share Yospo with somebody. Hopefully we can hit 5,000 subscribers soon. Until the next one, as always, you guys are the best.